Hello everyone. Today we will discuss the Argo workflow artifacts. So if you have not watched my earlier videos of Argo, I request you to please watch those. So what are artifacts? So basically, artifacts are, let's say in a Argo workflow, you have multiple steps. So let's see the Argo documentation itself. So if you have multiple steps in an Argo workflow, and the one some of these steps generate an output, and those output could be like the output of a step can be saved in a file, which subsequent step in the workflow can use that. So in that case, you would want to create an artifact from one step, which is output of artifact, which is and that is the input of another artifact. So before you create artifacts, you need to configure the artifact repository. And this is a documentation to configure the artifact repository. It explains various ways to configure the artifact repository. For example, if you're using S3, then it has steps to how to configure S3 as a artifact repository. What does this mean is that the output of a step, which is a file, will be saved into an S3, which the subsequent step will read. Or you can say, you can have Git also, HDFS also, HTTP also, and so on. Even Azure Blob Storage or Google Cloud Storage, etc. So let's take this example. So this is a type workflow, and it has one template. It starts from this template artifact example, and this template has two steps which run one after another. First is a generate artifact. Second is consume artifact. Now this generate artifact is using this whale say template, correct? The second consume artifact is using this print message template, which is here. Let's see what whale say template does. It uses the whale say Docker image, and it runs the command. Sort of, you can say it generates a hello world .txt. You can see this command yourself, but the output is a hello underscore world .txt file in temp folder. So now it has, what does this produce? The outputs. The outputs is, it is given the name to this output, which is hello-art, and the output is pointing to this file, which has been produced here. Correct. So this is the output which is being produced by whale say template. Now the next is consume artifact. So what this consume artifact does is it just uses print message template, and it passes certain arguments to this template itself. What are those arguments? So the name of this argument is message, and this message is what this message is. This is from steps dot generate artifact, which is the first step, dot outputs. The outputs of the first artifact is this. Then dot artifacts, then hello hyphen art, which is the name we have given to the artifact. So this is being passed as a message to the print message template. Now let's say what is print message template. So what input to this print message template is a message which is being passed to this print message template. Now what this does is it sort of map this message to /temp/message, and then what it does in the container, it takes the Alpine image and runs a shell command, which is nothing but it just cat this file. Cat means it's just print the content of this file. So this is what the artifact does. Now we'll just go over this. So the whale say template, which is the first template, right? The generate artifact and the whale set uses the whale say template. Uses cowsay command to generate a file named this hello world.txt. It then outputs this file as an artifact named hello-art. So you can go through this. Whatever I explained is, it just put it in words here. Now, what if you have large files and you don't want to get out of memory error? So in that case, you can set the port spec patch in the workflow spec. See, for example, I am this port spec patch during init container, I am giving more resources, 2 GB memory and 300 M CPU or whatever, correct? So to avoid the out of memory type of issues. The artifacts which are being passed, they are, they are packaged at tarbals and ggzip by default. Now you can customize this behavior by specifying the archive strategy using the archive field. So take an example here. So this is the artifact. the output artifacts hello world 1, and it produces temp hello world txt, then hello world 2, which produces the hello world dot temp hello world dot txt. I think the same thing, correct? Now here we are saying disable the archive is none, completely none. So there is no archiving being done there, correct? The third one is you are customizing your compression behavior. So basically disabling it aware. This is useful for file with varying compression benefits, whatever. You can go through this. So here we are saying the hello world, hello art3, this is the path, and archival tar, no compression. So compression level is 0. Now, where it is useful, it just explains disabling compression for a cached build workspace and large binaries, or increasing compression. So you can give different parameters, compression level or whatever else, right? So you can have no compression, alt accept the standard gzip 1 to 9 value. So based upon your requirement, you can set these values. Now, so what we have seen so far, in a workflow you can have multiple steps, and if you are producing the output of one step which is the input to the step, and these steps are not running in the same process, right? It's not that there's one process Java program you start or Python program you start and then in the memory you can do this. These steps are different processes in itself, and you saw that, right? That one is using the different image. This Velse is using the Velse latest image, Docker Velse latest image, and the print message using the Alpine image. So these are different processes. Now, if you want to pass content from one step to the step, you can configure the artifact. Now you can configure the different parameters of the artifact. By default, it is tarred and created a tarball is created and it is zipped by default. But you can change the behavior by the archive keyword. So here, disable archiving entirely, or here you're setting the compression level of archive of the tar file to 0. Now there you can have the artifact garbage collection. So what this garbage collection means, that you don't need the output of step 1, which was the input of step 2 after the workflow is completed, for example. So what is the point in keeping that file? So you can delete that file. So either on workflow completion, or for example on workflow deletion, when you say Argo delete, or using the API you're deleting the workflow, you want to delete this file so you don't keep occupying the space. So how to do that? So take this as a workflow example. This is the entry point main template, which is this, and here artifact GC. So artifact garbage collection is on workflow completion. So default strategy is set here. It applies to all artifacts by default. So whatever artifacts we are producing here, it is getting applied to all artifacts, and you can override it. For example, for during the output, so I am producing these artifacts. One is going to S3, and second, then keep this going to this path. And then here you are saying this artifact garbage collection strategy is never. So basically you are overriding what you have specified here. So in that case, you don't want to delete. So whatever you have given here, that on workflow, when you delete the workflow, at that time this should also be deleted. But here you are saying they never delete it. So this is how you can configure the artifact archiving strategy. So there's a lot to it, so I will not go into that much detail, otherwise video will become quite big. So you can have service account and annotation, and you can this is about the permissions and something like this. So you can go through this in your spare time. So I just wanted to highlight there's a way for you to configure the artifact repository and use that while passing the contents across steps in a Argo workflow. So that is about it. Thank you for watching.